Patriots game day is right around the corner. We will be live once more on Sunday. Come hang out with us. Patriots versus Bears. Obviously, the Patriots taking their second game into overtime and unfortunately losing their second game in overtime this season. But I feel like we're on the brink of some victories coming our way, and I think it could happen this weekend against Caleb Williams, the former first-round pick, just going ahead of Drake Maye by 2 positions. This will be a battle of the quarterbacks. I want you guys to be there with me as well. So before we hop into that, I got a question here for you guys. Joining the Patriots watch party on Sunday? Well, like this video. Let me know you guys will be there. If I get 500 likes, I know I'm going to have 500 beautiful people watching this great game with me on Sunday. And please don't leave me hanging. But with that being said, let's go on ahead and jump into our keys to victory here, or at least I should say my keys to victory here, because I do believe this is a game that is going to be a little bit tough, but definitely winnable. Number one, I want to get Drake Maye more involved in the run game. We already know Drake Maye has pretty much been our only asset in the run game for the last couple of weeks. And I think when you've got a mobile quarterback and you drafted a mobile quarterback for that reason, then why not start getting him a little bit more involved throughout the game, not just through the air, but on the ground? Because when you look at what Drake Maye has done, I mean, last weekend was phenomenal. He threw over 200 passing yards and had 95 yards on the ground on 8 carries. Some running backs don't even do that. Ramondre Stevenson, 3 carries for 46 yards in week 8. 3 carries for 18 yards. Not his best, but still he can get a first down if he needs to. And then, of course, 5 carries for 38 yards. So Drake Maye has proven time and time again that he can and will run if he needs to. And not a lot of quarterbacks will do that. Obviously, we were spoiled with a pocket passer like Brady for so long. But now that I'm looking at somebody like Alex Van Pelt, I was actually talking to one of my coworkers about this, is that Drake Maye and Alex Van Pelt need to be on the same page in terms of how mobile Maye is. If you're going to have him run just because there's no receivers open, then why not put a little RPO in there and actually allow Drake Maye to be as mobile as he can be? 95 yards on the ground is more than Ramondre Stevenson has had since probably week 4, and he's your RB1. Especially if you do have an RPO design type of play for Drake Maye, then you know that he can throw off defenses with that pass option and still take it 10 yards. We saw Brock Purdy do that against us in week 4 to gain 3 straight first downs. Not to mention, Drake Maye, he's already said that he loves the slide. He loves to be a great quarterback. And knowing that Ramondre Stevenson hasn't been as dominant as he was starting off the season, and I know some reports came out saying that Ramondre's got a little bit of stuff going on outside of the football field, and I totally respect that. But Ramondre has really not found his footing. He is averaging like 2 yards per carry at this point, and that's just not going to get anything done. Especially going up against the Bears this week, I think when the Bears do rank last in third down defense, this is the perfect time to utilize Drake Maye in that RPO. Remember what I just said about Brock Purdy gaining those 3 first downs back to back to back? Those all came on third down conversions against the Patriots. Not comparing Maye to Purdy. I'm just saying Drake Maye, who can run 95 yards in one game, can run 10 yards to pick up a first down, especially if you went and you're looking at 3 and 4. Maye can pick up those yards for you. So, with that being said, if Alex Van Pelt just lets Drake Maye do what he does best, and that's just be a mobile quarterback when he needs to be, then I think that getting Drake Maye involved in the run game should be a positive thing. And I know you guys already feel this way, but if Drake Maye is the best player on the Patriots, go on ahead and hit that like button for me. Once again, we know Drake Maye is just godsend to the Patriots this season in their offense. But let me know how you guys feel in the comment section down below. Before we jump into anything else here for my keys to victory, I do want to remind you guys about our sponsor here on Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Let's talk about Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I'm playing it. Everybody here at Chat Sports is playing it. And if you guys want to as well, here are my Prize Picks for this upcoming Sunday. I've got Lamar Jackson to have more on his passing yards. I've got Drake Maye to have the exact same thing. And I've got Brian Robinson Jr. to find the end zone at least once this weekend. So if you guys want to go on ahead and get started on Prize Picks, let me tell you why you should play and how easy it is. All you have to do is just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Not to mention, Prize Picks is offered in over 30 different states, including Cali, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. So if you guys want to get started today, there's even easier access to it. All you guys have to do is download the Prize Picks app, use promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app, use promo code CLNS for a first-time $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. My key to victory number 2 is prevent Williams' revenge game. I know you're probably sitting here being like, Allie, what revenge game? He's a rookie. Drake Maye's a rookie. We haven't played the Bears yet. I'm not talking about the Patriots and Bears revenge. Williams sucked last week in their big-time loss to the Cardinals. So I do think it's going to be a personal revenge game for somebody like Caleb Williams. He's going to be trying to redeem himself, and that's what the Patriots need to not let happen, is let Caleb Williams just absolutely pop off. Last week, Caleb Williams was just abysmal. 22 for 41 completions for attempts, 217 yards, which still isn't bad, 6 sacks. The offensive line, it was open season on Williams and then tagging on 0 touchdowns. Williams isn't going to want to have another loss like this, and knowing the Patriots defense definitely has some holes in it, he's going to be looking to bounce back against the Patriots, and that's what they need to prevent. And it is definitely possible, but when you do look at a player like Caleb Williams, and knowing that he was drafted for the beautiful cannon of an arm that he does have, there's also been a little flaw to his game so far this year. He has 4 interceptions on deep passes this season. So if Caleb Williams is trying to hit one of his many receivers here, there is a slight opportunity for somebody like Christian Gonzalez, Jalen Hawkins, Kyle Duggar to be able to cut off his resources. And I feel like if you cut off his resources, his confidence is going to get lower and lower and lower. And not to mention, the Bears are kind of in the same situation right now as the Patriots in terms of offensive line, and it's open season. The Bears allow the 4th highest pressure rate in the NFL. Guess who has the first? That's the Patriots, baby. But the Bears allowing that many sacks in one ball game, I mean, as Patriots fans, we know. We've seen Drake Maye get hit time and time again. But Caleb Williams, they're going to have to allow pressure. Caleb actually does pretty well when the blitz is coming against him, as we did see against Cardinals last week. But we do know that Caleb Williams coming off of not so hot game here. If you continue to blitz and you continue to bring the pressure, maybe even add on a couple of sacks here, you could possibly lead to one of those deep throw interceptions and just throw Williams off his game. Just don't let Caleb Williams have a great game against the Patriots. That's pretty much the only point here, is that if you keep him from having his revenge game from last week, then you should be in a pretty good boat. But let me go ahead and bring up my next key to victory here. And that is, of course, going to lead more on the defensive side here. So I would love to be able to duplicate Christian Gonzalez. There is no machine for that as of right now in the year of 2024. So let me tell you about what I mean here by duplicating Christian Gonzalez. When you look at what Caleb Williams' targets have, he's got an abundance of targets that he can throw to every single game. It's not just a one top wide receiver type of regimen. You've got wide receiver DJ Moore, wide receiver Keenan Allen, the rookie wide receiver Rome Odunze, who has created a beautiful connection with Caleb Williams so far this season. Tight end Cole Kmet, which has been a top target for Caleb Williams. And then, of course, a couple little quick slant, wheel route, jet sweep, running back DeAndre Swift. These are several targets that Williams goes to every single game. That's what comes back to being able to duplicate Gonzalez. We know that Gonzalez is the top cornerback on the Patriots. Hell, maybe even in this year of cornerbacks. I just think he's been absolutely locked down. But We did find out, unfortunately, the hard way, even though we did end up winning that ball game, that the Patriots don't do well with teams that happen to have 2 or more wide receivers because we don't have 2 Christian Gonzalez's. You've got Jonathan Jones and Marcus Jones, who are fine corners, but they're not locked down like Gonzo. So when we played the Jets 2 weeks ago, and they've got 2 lethal wide receivers in Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, it was a field day for 2 of them. 54 yards for Adams, 113 yards for Garrett Wilson, because Gonzo couldn't be in 2 places at once. So the tough part of the secondary for the Patriots to be able to take down the Caleb Williams and the Bears offense is stepping up in the secondary, not putting all that on Christian Gonzalez's plate because it's going to be too much. He's not going to be able to cover Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Roma Dunze all at the same time. So I'm looking to Jalen Hawkins, the backup safety, for when he comes in. He's been playing in for Jabril Peppers to really lock down that deep part of the field. And then looking for Jonathan Jones just to not get beat on his coverage this year. Because Caleb Williams can have a field day through the air if that does happen. So I have a question here for you guys before I hop into my last key to victory going up against the Chicago Bears here in Week 10. And that question is going to lean more so in terms of the defense. And this has kind of been on my mind for a while, is who's the second best player in New England secondary? Is it Kyle Duggar? Is it Jalen Hawkins? Jonathan Jones? Let me know in the comment section down below, who's the player you want to step up when it can't be Christian Gonzalez guarding every single wide receiver at once? Wouldn't that be nice? Because hopefully the Patriots can maybe next year get somebody to complement Christian Gonzalez's skill set in the secondary. But until then, and the trade deadline passed, it looks like we are stuck with what we have. So let me go ahead and bring up my last and final key to victory here for Week 10. I'm going to talk a little bit here about ball security. And this kind of goes for obviously every offensive position, but I want to talk about Drake Maye in specifics. And not even me bringing this up. Drake Maye brought this up on his own in the press conference earlier this week. And I think it's just so cool that the rookie's already taking a lot of pride in his mistakes, saying, I've got to change that. I've got to do better. And that's what you kind of want to see in a guy that unfortunately has turned the ball over more so than not. And some of it being his fault, some not. We know the offensive line is shit, but Maye knows he cannot throw 2 picks in Week 10 the way that he did in Week 9. Was it unfortunate that the game ended in overtime with a Drake Maye interception? Absolutely. But once again, Maye's pretty much carrying this offense. But he does know that ball security is job security. And he's already addressed that he's got to be better. He's got to be smarter with his decisions. Because the one thing I liked more about Jacoby Brissett in the 5 games that he played over Drake Maye was just the veteran experience that he had, knowing when to throw it out of bounds rather than throwing it up in the air and hoping that a wide receiver will catch it, and just because you want to avoid a sack. Brissett was a lot better at Maye than that, but Brissett's also been in the league for 10 years more than Maye. So I'm glad that he's already taking initiative, and I would honestly not be surprised if we see 0 turnovers from Drake Maye. That's obviously on the forefront of his mind going into this week. Plus, you know that you're also going into a really tough run defense with the Chicago Bears. So not just Drake Maye, but whether it's Antonio Gibson, Jermichael Hasty, or Mondre Stevenson running through those trenches, we know Mondre had a pretty iffy time with ball security earlier this season. So whether Drake Maye, they involve him in the run game, which is one of my keys to victory. You just have to hone in on the ball security. I think this game is very winnable, but if you constantly turn it over and give the ball back to Chicago's offense and wear out your defense, it's going to look like a repeat of all the weeks that have come prior. But we will be live for this ball game on Sunday, an hour before kickoff. So come join us, hang out. But before we go ahead and get into that, let me just ask you this one last question. What are your keys to victory? Now is your time. Drop them in the comment section down below. They can be something like mine, something very different. Doesn't matter. That's why we have this channel. So if you guys want to join us live on Sunday, super easy. All you guys have to do is subscribe.